Public transport is your best friend in Polish cities. Living in Poland, when you need to get from one place to another, public transport isn't always the best option. Sure, there is a lot to improve. But if you are visiting Poland without a car, planning to stay within cities and eager to explore urban areas, public transport will indeed become your best friend. In such cases, you should definitely avoid renting a car. I will explain later in this video when renting a car might be considered. However, please bear in mind, Polish cities aren't exactly built in a car-friendly manner. Finding a parking spot can be a hassle. Parking lots in the city centers are rather expensive and the distances within city are not extensive. It's often much easier and quicker to hop on a tram and ride for 2 stops than to find parking spot, park your car, walk to your destination, then head back to the car, drive to the next destination, find another parking spot, walk again, and so on and so on. Cześć, I'm Marcin and let's start our journey through Poland in the Polish way. Public transport in Polish cities. Most cities follow roughly the same rules, although there are some differences. I will provide solutions that generally work in every major Polish city and probably create additional short materials with information specific to certain cities. So after watching this video, check the description. You need to install this app. Link in the description. They haven't paid me a penny to mention this app. It's probably the best app you can imagine for navigating public transport. Once you enter your destination, it displays the exact stop from which and how soon the nearest and best vehicle will depart. If you need to make transfers, it clearly marks the transfers and specific stops where you need to change. This is particularly important because, for example, Rondo Mogilskie has several stops and without this app, finding the right one could take a while. This app is must-have for traveling around Poland. Bus versus tram. Okay, now that you know how to find your best connections, sometimes you might need to choose between a tram and a bus. In some cases, it's better to choose tram since buses can get stuck in traffic. Even though the timetable suggests that the travel time is nearly the same, trams can often be faster. Tickets. Different cities have different approaches, but in each one you will find tickets for specific time periods, like short term, for example 20, 40 or 60 minutes, or long term, for example 1, 3 or 7 days. This means you have the specific time to travel from the moment you validate your ticket. You can transfer an unlimited number of times, use different lines and switch from a bus to a tram within the designated time. There might be additional options and nuances in some places, but regardless of the city, if you have purchased a ticket for a specific time, you have that exact time to move around the city. Importantly, it's about the real time, not the vehicle's timetable. If you bought a 20-minute ticket and schedule says you should reach your destination in 10 minutes, but 20 minutes later you are still in a bus far from the target stop, you should buy another ticket for further travel. Delays are not an excuse. And ticket inspections are keen to issue fines if there is an opportunity. When purchasing a ticket, you will probably also encounter something called ticket zones. Almost all cities have a zone 1 or zone A, which covers the city area, and zone 2, 3 or B, C for suburban areas. From the tourist perspective, I guess it's unlucky you will travel beyond the main zone and need a ticket that covers more zones, but check the description. If you don't find tips for the city you are visiting, ask in the comments. How to buy and validate your ticket. The most universal and easiest method is to buy a ticket from a machine at the stop. Enter through any door and validate it in one of the validators inside. You only need to validate a ticket once during entrance. Ticket machines are also located in most vehicles, but I recommend buying your tickets in advance before boarding. Drivers rather not sell tickets, or if they do, it's at a higher price. You can also buy a ticket through an app, which is a good option, but ticket validation might look slightly different in each city. If you want precise instruction for specific cities, check the description or let me know in the comments. Ticket inspections. Important. No one stands at the doors checking if you have validated your ticket. But that doesn't mean you can ride for free. Public transport has ticket inspections and inspector comes in and asks for your ticket. If you have it, there should be no problem. But if you don't have valid ticket, you will need to pay a fine. For foreigners without a registered address and a Polish document, inspector usually requires on-the-spot cash payment. But we won't dive into details. In this video, you will know how to avoid riding without a valid ticket. And it's somewhat an urban legend, but there might be cases where the fake inspectors conduct checks and try to scam you even though you have a valid ticket. If you have a ticket and are sure everything is correct, don't get scammed. Call the police, emergency number is 112. Luggage costs. Most cities don't charge extra for luggage, but check the regulations pricing for the city you plan to visit. Tips. In public transport, you will also find signs indicating priority seating for the elderly, disabled, or pregnant woman. If the seat is free, you can sit there, but you should give up your seat if such person boards. Regardless of where you are sitting, giving up your seat to elderly or to pregnant women is always seen as positive gesture. And if you have taken a seat and someone prefers to stand rather than sit next to you, don't take it personally. Poles like to keep a bit more personal space, or simply stand after a whole day of sitting at work. And what's more, stop names are mostly in Polish. For example, Rondo Grzegórzeckie. So if you don't speak Polish, track your route in the app. Smaller towns. In smaller towns, it's quite different. You will most likely need to enter a bus through the front doors and pay the driver for the ride. And app might not be that helpful. And also please bear in mind that public transport in smaller towns might not be as efficient and well organized as in the cities. What if you don't want to use public transport? You can also use taxis, but in this case it's best to use apps. The three most popular ones, which operate in most larger cities, are Uber, Bolt and Freedom. It's hard to say which is the best. In terms of vehicle quality or drivers, there are often no significant differences. And many drivers offer services on each of these apps. Prices for the same route can vary across different apps on different days. I have all three apps installed and use whichever offers the cheapest ride for my route. However, in Krakow, during peak hours, it's better to take a tram. But unfortunately, public transport won't take you outside the city and taxi might turn out to be too expensive. So if you want to discover some nature or visit hidden gems, in such situation, you might consider renting a car. Private bus providers. But before you decide on renting a car, you might also want to check if private bus providers offer a ride to your destination. In the description you will find a link to a connection search engine. For bus or coaches, you can buy your ticket online or at the bus station. Remember to purchase your ticket in advance. Trains. However, if you are looking to travel from city to city, the most convenient way is by train. And if you want to know how to navigate Poland by train, check out this video. Subscribe for more!